Welcome, this is Peter Mebane. I'm one of the leads for our startup program, and I'm coming to you from the Data Heroes Hub with Bill Buckley, SVP of Product and Engineering at CloudZero. Bill, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Peter. This is very exciting.
Yes, of course. Why don't you get us started off? Tell us a little bit about CloudZero, what it is you guys do, and how you feel like you differentiate yourself in the space.
Yeah, thanks. So CloudZero is a SaaS platform. We help our customers innovate efficiently in the public cloud. We do that with three main differentiators. The first is we are a cloud cost intelligent platform that can handle any cost. We can help you manage your Snowflake costs, but also your AWS, your GCP, your Azure, and any other public SaaS cost that you have. We do that by pulling in all that data and normalizing it into a single flexible data model. To keep that data model flexible, we have our second differentiator, which we call cost formation. Think about this almost as Terraform for your cost. This allows you to write in our specific DSL ways to transform your costs so you don't look at it just as infrastructure, but map it to your business. So you can very quickly show your entire company cost per team, per feature, per product. Then we go above and beyond that into our third differentiator. We actually let you send in non-cost data to give you deeper insights. We call this telemetry. This could be engineering information, like what SQL queries are going down to your warehouses. But it could also be customer adoption data. How are your end users using your multi-tenant applications? All of this comes together to give you an unparalleled visibility into all of your public cloud spending, helping you understand things like unit cost, unit economics, and we help companies understand how to keep margin high with their investment so that they feel confident to spend more and more on those services and understand how to deliver value to their end users.
That's great. It sounds like a really well-rounded platform, and I'm sure given the macroeconomic climate, it's something people are really interested in right now. And I understand you just announced you got Series B funding. That's great, congratulations. How do you see your product evolving? You know, you've talked about kind of what it is you guys offer now, what's coming down the pipeline, what's on your roadmap?
Yeah, we've been really excited. When we started this journey, we saw that many of the incumbents in the area, they would have maybe one or two users, and they would have one or two super users, maybe someone from finance, maybe someone from infrastructure on there. Our mission from the beginning was to put all of this intelligence into the hand of the builders, the data scientists, the data engineers, the software engineers. The only way you can make sure you're making good decisions in the public cloud is to give the people building in the cloud that operational visibility into how their decisions are impacting cost. So we've noticed over the last few years that many of our organizations that use CloudZero have dozens and hundreds of users on there. Given that, a big focus this year is more personalization.
Gotcha.
We're actually releasing next month a really large analytics platform that'll allow you to create custom reports, dashboards, and share them among all of your different business units and engineers so that you can see the data in the way your organization needs to get the power you need out of it. We're really excited for that coming up.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I bet that's going to be very interesting to a lot of people. Now, you guys decided early on that you wanted to build your product on top of Snowflake. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to that decision and how has your experience been so far?
Yeah, it's interesting. We were pretty small when we got onto Snowflake. We were probably about 6 engineers. We were pre-product market fit, but we had this MVP that customers really loved. And there was one thing we did not love, and that was organizing our databases, whether that be trying to figure out the right size for it, patching it. And part of that came from a first principle of our company. We're actually a fully serverless company. From day one, we've never had a virtual machine or a container running in our production workloads. We love using off-the-shelf infrastructure and letting the people who are really good at infrastructure run things. So when we stumbled across Snowflake, we decided it was a match made in heaven. Here was a company that was really good at running database nodes, these warehouses, and we could decide what is the data we need, how do we organize and materialize that data, and then run analytics on it. So we moved very early to it, and it really allowed our engineers to move much faster and focus on how to bring our end users value instead of fighting infrastructure, which we don't want to do, and quite honestly, we're never going to be as good at it as Snowflake is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You guys have a lot of data that you're processing, right? You're helping customers get access to data that they normally don't have a ton of visibility into. Can you talk about some of the challenges that you've seen crunching that amount of data? And maybe what are a couple benefits of Snowflake that you've seen that have helped you handle those challenges?
Yeah, early on we saw that this was a tough problem. Instead of going to places where customers had lots of their data sitting there, we actually have to go out and help our customers collect it because this data is sitting all over the place. It's at different vendors, it's in their data platforms, it's in their data lakes, and oftentimes we have to pull it from a dozen vendors and those areas and bring it all together. That's hard because each of those vendors releases data at different amounts. These are very high cardinality data sets, and so Snowflake really gave us a great way to attack some of that. We loved how it would separate the data and the compute, and so given that we were very serverless, it was easy for us to do very horizontal scale. And we love the fact that we can, in an instance, just spin up lots and lots of warehouses if one of our large customers all of a sudden has a billion rows to pull in, and we need to take that data in really quickly. We can pull that in really quickly, and we know that Snowflake can take that very quickly, scale it out, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. And I know you had a session here this week talking about your origin story on Snowflake and how you guys use data sharing there a little bit. Could you maybe give us a little bit of a bite-sized version of how that project started?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked earlier about how we're not big on building infrastructure, right? We want to focus on helping our customers make intelligent decisions when it comes to how they use SaaS products. And so when we saw Snowflake data sharing a number of years ago, we saw it as a really interesting way to do two things. One is pull people's Snowflake data out of there. Sometimes they have really important data that helps us give them more visibility. But just importantly, once we've normalized all that data into our very specific model, people wanted access to it. We started getting all these requests. We had one of our customers say, actually want to give this to all my sales team. They wanted to take it and stream it back to Salesforce, because what they were finding was that we could give them visibility to a cost per customer. And all of a sudden they had some customers they were actually losing money on. So they wanted to know that every time one of their sales reps wanted to do a renewal, they would have access to this data.
Right.
And so we were, at the time, maybe 6, 8, maybe 10 engineers. We didn't want to go and add a whole new API and all the rate limiting of that. And so we saw secure data sharing as a great way to give people easy access to the data through a provider they trust in a model that honestly didn't put a lot of strain on us. So now if they're just hour after hour querying billions of rows, they can do that and do it in the area of their own Snowflake without having us to incur the cost. So it was really made everyone happy. It made the Snowflake reps happy because we were using more Snowflake. It made us happy because we were seeing our data get used more and more deeply. And it made our customers happy because they could now join it with whatever proprietary data they wanted.
Yeah, that's great. Love those kind of situations where there's just value in it for everyone. Well, Bill, thank you for joining us today. Hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. And thank you so much for being a Snowflake customer and choosing to build your product on Snowflake.
Thanks for having me today, Peter. Talk to you later.